What is up? What is up? What is up, awesome people of the internet? Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to an emergency live stream because some news happened today and we got to talk about it. We got to talk about it. So here's the rundown generally of how the stream is going to go. We're going to talk about Skylar Diggins-Smith and what she had to say about Phoenix's former coach. We're also going to talk about the Chicago Sky and how they are a team imploding right now. So I'm going to let you all know what my actual thoughts are about it. Thank you all for all your thoughts. As the news came by, some of y'all was like, "Hey, how do you feel about the Sky?" So yeah, appreciate y'all for that. We also are going to talk about Arizona a little bit and how they have tryouts happening because they need some help. And we're going to talk also about Kelsey Plum and her thoughts about Caitlin Clark hitting or almost hitting her record for most points ever scored in the NCAA. So those are the things that we're going to talk about. I do want to say thank you all so much for joining. I do appreciate it. If y'all can let folks know that we are on, and yeah, we're gonna get right into it. So we're first going to start off with actually let's first start off with hearing what you all had to say about the news. So let's kind of get some reactions of your thoughts about what is going on in the women's game, be it the Chicago Sky, be it what's been talked about in terms of Skylar Diggins-Smith. Yeah, let's just sort of round robin it real quick, and then we'll really get into it. Nolan says, who does Quita the fan want with that number 3 draft selection? Well, I have some ideas. I will specifically get into that in just a sec. But that is a very good question though. Kyra says, as soon as I heard Kalia Copper news, I said, oh no, Quita's gonna need to talk. Yeah. Yeah, I need to talk. Braxton says, who do the Sparks need to look at in the draft with these picks? We're gonna get into that. Yeah, it's a huge question of what's the Sky doing? Also, what are the Sparks doing, and what is their end goal basically is my big question. Saffron Monsoon says same. I immediately felt bad for Quita, though it was exciting and shocking news when I got up today in the West Coast. Yeah. Yeah, y'all, I'm rocking my Chicago Sky sweatshirt right now. I put this on and went to work and had no idea about the news until I got to work that this was happening. So I guess fitting that I decided to wear my Sky jersey or Sky sweatshirt today on the day that the Sky are basically imploding. Like crazy times. Larry said, I'm shocked and sad that Kai is leaving, but it was best for both sides. James Wade really did more harm than good for this team, and it's not even just the bad trades. Yeah, we're about to get into that. But if y'all can please hit that like button, that would be amazing. That will help more people find this channel and find the stream that we're doing. Because yeah, we got a lot that we're about to get into. So we're first going to start off with Dre Mac 21 says, I know you were punching your wall after hearing about Copper today. Yeah. I was at work when I found out. So I was very confused. I was like, what? Is this really happening? And then I was angry, and then I was just like, whatever. I've lots of thoughts about this whole entire situation. But we will begin with Skylar Diggins-Smith. And Skylar Diggins-Smith deciding that today is the day that she is going to say what she wants to say about her time with the Phoenix Mercury. Y'all, this was something that I didn't expect. I don't think a lot of people didn't expect for Skylar Diggins-Smith to just go off and start talking. So we're gonna get into specifically what she said, and yeah, yeah. Yeah, we about to get into it. So today, yeah. All right. Let me do a share. Let me do a share screen. And we're gonna look at the comments together, and you all let me know what you all think about them. All right. So it started today when Skylar Diggins-Smith or at least I started seeing Skylar Diggins-Smith go off today when you had Taraji P. Henchman said after how they treated Skylar Diggins-Smith and Nikki Blue, why are Black women headed to Phoenix? Am I missing something? And then the reply to that was from Starfighter Reviews said, maybe you're missing the fact that Skylar handled the whole situation unprofessionally, and people are actually seeing that wherever Skylar goes, she leaves a trail of destruction behind her. And then the quote tweet that Skylar Diggins had is that it said, only when I got pregnant. So that was her. It seemed like the start of her responses. And then she just kept going from there. After that, she posted, hold on. There we go. After that, she posted on X saying around this time, she was giving us some new information. Around this time 2 years ago, I was meeting our new coach for the first time, and she said, "Hey, Skylar, well, first," extended the hand and said, "Happy Black History Month." And then she had that like melting smiley face thing. And we all know who she was talking about. So, you know, we if you don't know who she's talking about Vanessa Nygaard. So at least that's my huge assumption, because I don't know who else she could be talking about besides Vanessa Nygaard. Vanessa Nygaard was the head coach for the Phoenix Mercury for a hot second. And supposedly, according to Skylar Diggins-Smith, this was the first interaction that Skylar Diggins-Smith had with her. Again, she said they met each other. Vanessa Nygaard says, "Hey, Skylar, well, first, happy Black History Month." Awkward. Absolutely awkward. I don't know. I try my best to usually think of the most charitable thing I could think of in terms of a response. And I don't know, maybe it's just that I don't know, maybe Vanessa Nygaard just really didn't know what to say, and is like awkward person, and that was all she could think to say. Awkward, yes, I know, but yeah, that was strange of things to say. And so yeah, a lot of people had a lot of thoughts about this gif is just really funny. Yeah. A lot of people had a lot of things to say about what Skylar Diggins-Smith said. And yeah. So lots of gifs. Definitely awkward of a thing to say. But maybe Vanessa Nygaard's a socially awkward person. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a charitable way that this could be construed it, but definitely not not that great. And then after she posted that, we're just gonna go down the line of all the stuff that Skylar Diggins-Smith had to say today. So after she posted that, someone said, "Ooh, tell us all about the Diana Taurasi blank word as well." And Skylar was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. So Skylar says it started with the obvious, stuck up for Sandy Brondello, the former coach of the Chicago. I mean, not the Chicago, the Phoenix Mercury. Now Sandy Brondello is the coach at the New York Liberty. She said, I stated the obvious, stuck up for Sandy Brondello, stuck up for Brittany Griner, stuck up for my teammates, played too good, demanded to be coached, didn't stay in my place or bow down, stopped playing when I was pregnant. That's about it. So yeah, that's what Skylar Diggins-Smith had to say next, and it was just sort of on from there. Skylar said, I got time today, and I'm gonna say what I want to say. Yeah. And then of course we had lots of comments from that, but yeah. I wonder if we'll hear something new about so funny. That's so funny. I wonder if we will hear something new from someone in the Phoenix camp, because right now we have Skylar Diggins-Smith narrative out there about how the issues that she's had with Diana Taurasi were surrounded by these things. You know, she said what she thought was obvious. She stuck up for the coach. She stuck up for her fellow teammates. She played too good, meaning I assume that means better than Diana Taurasi. She demanded to be coached, didn't stay in her place or bow down, and she stopped playing when she was pregnant. So that is what Skylar Diggins-Smith had to say next. And yeah, she said, hold up. She said, now that I'm on the bus, since I'm a topic. She then followed up saying, won an Emmy as part of a dope broadcasting team, reached out to the producer, and they said they'd love to have me back. It was told they were going in a different direction by Mercury representatives. So yeah, those are the things that Skylar Diggins-Smith had to say today about her time at with the Phoenix Mercury. Y'all let me know what y'all thought about what she had to say. What did y'all think? How are y'all taking this information that Skylar has shared with us today? The Chosen One says, I'm glad Skylar is speaking out. Larry says Skylar is fearless and has high standards, plus she refused to bow down to DT. Phoenix says, talk your ish, sis. Kyra says, I'm sure she thought she killed it. Oh wait, no. I'm sure she thought she killed that intro. Wait, I don't know what you mean. I'm confused. I'm confused. Janice says, hilarious. Helena says, what did Plum say about Clark? We'll get into that in just a sec, but it was, Plum was basically saying that she's excited that, Caitlyn is about to break her record, but we're gonna get into specifically what Kelsey Plum had to say in just a sec. Also, if y'all get that like button, that would be amazing. That would be really, really awesome if you get that like button. The Chosen One said, I've always said that I thought Taurasi was always the problem. And honestly said, what it do, Q and awesome people of the internet? What it do, honestly? How y'all doing? Happy I don't even think I said hello, awesome people of the internet. Maybe I did when I started, but if I didn't say it, hello, awesome people of the internet. Happy Tuesday, y'all. Today is a light day for women's college basketball, so I figured let's just hop on here and talk about the wild day that has been women's basketball, specifically on the WNBA side of things, but we will get into some NCAA content as well. Oh yeah, Kyra says Nygaard introducing herself to Skylar. Yeah, yeah. Very awkward, very awkward introduction for sure. Nolan says great admiration for Skylar Diggins-Smith for defending herself time and time again. I can't wait to see her on the court in May. Yeah, I can't wait to see Skylar Diggins-Smith play. Skylar Diggins-Smith can ball, absolutely ball. And it's been a while since we saw her actually playing in a real game. So it'll be fun to watch her play. That is for sure. So yeah, that was Skylar Diggins-Smith hitting, spilling the tea on what, according to her opinion, has transpired during her time in Phoenix. Milo says, she owns the truth of her experience, but I don't see many players running to her cause. She left a sour taste in Dallas's mouth too. I think she has Cambridge tendencies. Oh, okay. All right, Milo. Thanks for sharing. Honestly says, smash that like button, y'all. Milo also said Vanessa was not at all qualified to be the coach in Phoenix. Maybe, but I will say to the defense, I don't know if this is a defense of Vanessa Nygaard or what. She was put in a very tough situation in Phoenix. She became the coach of the team. Brittany Griner gets detained in Russia. You have strife going on between Diana Taurasi and Skylar Diggins-Smith. You had Tina Charles, who was like, "This is too much. I'm gone." Yes, did Vanessa Nygaard contribute to that those issues as well, and sort of had them compound? Yes, but I also think that she was put in a very, very tough situation that I'm not sure how many coaches would have been able to successfully get through it all. So that's what I will say. That is what I will say. 10 said hit that like button too. Nike Sav 21 says everybody knows Skylar doesn't stand for the disrespect, and she will stand up for herself no matter who it's against, as she should. She is about to be on a revenge tour this season. Yeah, she is going to be on a revenge tour. Like I am very, very, very much excited to see her play this season, to just see how she balls, because it's been a long while since we saw her on the basketball court. April says, I am so ready for this season to start. It's going to be so lit, competitive with a splash of drama. And yeah, and I will say this. Regardless of if you're a fan of drama or not, it seems like it drives people to watch. So, I guess it is what it is. I tell you this, that game between Seattle and Phoenix, that's going to be a game to watch. They're going to play a couple times this season, and those are going to be the games that you want to watch. So it's going to be the games in terms of like rivalries and whatnot. I would say it's between Seattle versus Phoenix. To me, that's going to be a huge rivalry game of sorts because it's Skylar Diggins-Smith playing against her former team. I also think that of course the New York Liberty and the Las Vegas Aces is going to be a rival or rivalry games as well, just because they went at it last year and sort of like the clash of the super teams. I think we'll also probably see some stuff between the Washington Mystics and Phoenix as well, because Natasha Cloud is now with Phoenix. Phoenix is rising. They're rising and they're looking pretty like they're looking like a really interesting team. I can tell you that for sure. And we'll also see sort of like if Elena Delle Donne does go to a team like Phoenix, I think that'll just sort of add to the competitive fire when these teams play against each other as well. So Braxton says, I still don't understand them firing Sandy. I think they are kicking themselves. I guarantee you, Phoenix's upper management are upset at the fact that they got rid of Sandy Brondello because they didn't win a championship. Sandy Brondello, I say is a really good coach. I think she's a really good coach. I'm not sure why you get rid of her and then you just proceed to go on a downward spiral. Yeah, and you fire Vanessa Nygaard, bring in a new coach who is new to coaching in the WNBA. We'll see how he does. Best of luck to him, of course. But I guarantee you they're kicking themselves at the fact that they got rid of Sandy Brondello, and look at all the stuff that has transpired after that. Honestly says she seems messy and also seems to expose the mess around her and says the quiet parts out loud. Yeah, about Skylar Diggins-Smith. Yeah, I can see that. Yep. Nike Sav 21 says, why does no one hold Diana Taurasi accountable for her actions/emotions? It's never her fault, I guess. Well, I guess the question is who I think the only people that can actually hold Diana Taurasi accountable is the Phoenix Mercury. I don't know who else can hold Diana Taurasi accountable. And the Phoenix Mercury, she's their franchise player. She has been with them for forever. So I think in terms of accountability, the only place she's going to get it from is Phoenix. But Phoenix and Diana Taurasi are like, they're like together. They're like one, And I think that that they're not going to necessarily say anything. But I don't know Nike staff who would say anything besides Phoenix's management. But Diana Taurasi is the GOAT of the WNBA, as determined by the WNBA themselves. So I think it's hard to rein in a player who is that much of a living legend of the game. So Kyra says, here for the chaos. Phoenix says, wish she was more clear about the blow up on the sideline. We may hear some more stuff about that. And for those, it looks like we have some more folks that have joined. For those who just joined, I do want to just show you all what we've been talking about. We've been talking about Skylar Diggins-Smith and what she had to say about her time in Phoenix. She started off by saying 2 years ago when she met Coach Vanessa Nygaard for the first time in person, Vanessa Nygaard said, hey, Skylar, well, first, and extended her hand and said, happy Black History Month. And that was sort of an awkward way to meet your new coach. And then she decided to let us know what the whole Diana Taurasi stuff was all about. And Skylar said, I stated the obvious, stuck up for Sandy, stuck up for Brittany Griner, stuck up for my teammates, played too good, demanded to be coached, didn't stay in my place or bow down, stopped playing when I was pregnant, and that's about it. So that's what she had to say. And then she had one more thing to say. She said, won an Emmy as part of a dope broadcasting team. Reached out to the producer, and they said they'd love to have me back. It was told they were going in a different direction this year by a Mercury rep. So that is what we are talking about with Skylar Diggins-Smith. That is what she had to say. So we're just folks are sharing their opinions about what Skylar Diggins-Smith shared with everybody else. She literally spilt the tea. Let us know, in at least on her, for her perspective, what has been happening in Phoenix. Saffron Monsoon, I think I'm saying your username right, says, how many technical fouls will we see when the Mercury and Storm play each other? Now that my friend is a good question. Let's see. Let's put in your guesses. Put in your guesses in the comments below. Put in your guesses in terms of how many technicals do you imagine seeing when both of these teams actually face each other, Phoenix and the Seattle Storm. I would say, I'm gonna say maybe, let's see, maybe two techs, one tech on Seattle, one tech on Phoenix. For the first matchup, I think we'll see two techs. Yeah, I think Dinah Taurasi is gonna get a tech, and probably Skylar Diggins-Smith is gonna get a tech. Like that is what I am anticipating. I think both of them are gonna get techs. They're both gonna get very testy, and one of them may be close to getting kicked out of the game. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. You know, I am just saying. Let's see y'all guesses. K Mora says 2 ejections. On who? Miss Peach says 4. 4 texts. Braxton says 3, and Dinah Taurasi will be ejected. B Girl 1214 says, this is saucy. I love it. Okay says, does Phoenix have a target on their backs this season? No. The only team, in my opinion, that has a target on their back is the Las Vegas Aces, because they are the reigning champions. They are the 2-time champions. They are the team that all of this stuff is done to beat the Las Vegas Aces. The reason why the Seattle Storm got Skylar Diggins-Smith and Nneka Ogwumike is to beat the Las Vegas Aces. The only reason why Phoenix has traded away assets to get Kalia Copper, they got Beck Allen in the trade. The only reason why that's happening is because the Phoenix Mercury are trying to compete with the Las Vegas Aces. The only reason why, Natasha Cloud, again, also another player who is with the Phoenix Mercury now, that's because they're trying to beat the Las Vegas Aces. For the New York Liberty, I would say that they don't have a target in their back. And the only reason I say that is because they didn't win. So what's the target for? What the New York Liberty did not win the WNBA championship. They made it to the finals, and then they proceeded to lay an egg. So I don't think they are a team that has a target on their back. But the only team that actually really does have a target on their back is the Las Vegas Aces. And everybody is sort of trying to build a team that can compete against the Aces, because the Aces are tough. The Aces are tough, in terms of just on paper, these ladies can ball. Also, they got a phenomenal coach as well. So it's sort of like there's a lot that other teams have to compete with, and so the other teams are trying to build up their roster to the point where they can compete. So it's really going to be teams that can hang with the Aces, and then it's going to be everybody else. Like, and the Chicago Sky is going to likely fall in that everybody else bucket, you know. Phil says the Aces are the villains in the W. They are. They really are. They really, really are. Larry says people keep bringing up Dallas as if it's impossible, that she had valid complaints for both franchises because she spoke up in Dallas. Should she have been silenced in Phoenix? Well, good question, Larry. Good question. Yeah, I mean, for those folks who are talking about Skylar Diggins-Smith's time in Dallas, can you answer Larry's question? Like, I would be very curious to see what people who use that Dallas period as a negative for Skylar Diggins-Smith. I would be very curious as to what you say to what Larry just asked, because yeah, what is she supposed to do? Stay silent because she had an issue in Dallas. So now she can't say anything when she goes to the Phoenix Mercury. She can't say anything when she goes to other teams. Like, that's a question. I'm very curious. I'm very curious. Lou A says the Aces have had a sweet deal since Bill Laimbeer was at the helm. Bill knew how to build a team. Y'all, shout out to Bill Laimbeer. I remember when Bill Laimbeer was with the I remember when Bill Laimbeer was with the Detroit Shock, and like, y'all, I used to be a big Detroit Shock fan. Big Detroit Shock fan. Let's see. Well, Scott, this isn't necessarily related to our conversation, but Scott says the WNBA do not like straight women. Really? Share thoughts about that. Because there's quite a lot of them in the WNBA. So I'm including Skylar Diggins-Smith. So clarify, please. Nike Sav 21 says the drama in Dallas was about her pregnancy and how they treated her. Didn't that lead to more protections for mothers in the CBA? Glad she spoke up. Let's see. Let's go back. I think I missed some comments. Helena says, do you think Candace Parker will play this season? I hope so. I am one of those people. I know that, like, I think this should probably be Candace Parker last season. And she should just do her farewell tour and then retire from the WNBA. So I hope she does return for one more season. And if she does return, I think she's going to if she does return, I think she's going to go to the Las Vegas Aces. I don't know why I just blanked on what I was saying. Robert says Deanna Nolan was my favorite player. Yes, Tweety Nolan. Y'all, yes. I really like Deanna Nolan. I really, really liked her. Like, maybe for a future edition of Women's Basketball Weekly, I'll do like a deep dive on the Detroit Shock of old. I loved that team. I really did. I really, really did. Milo says, I think, like many things in life, when you are the common denominator in things that go left, at what point do you ask, is it me? I also saw the Mercury play live in 2022, and It was a mess all around. Milo, please like please clarify. What do you mean? What do you mean it was a mess? Like I would love to, yeah, I would love to like hear your, I mean, since you actually like attended a game in 2022, like what what were you seeing? What were you seeing like on the bench and stuff like that? What were you seeing? I would love to yeah, I would love to hear what you have to say about that because yeah. Um but yeah, I do see your point, Milo, though. I do see your point. Um Not necessarily in this Skylar situation because I don't know. You know, I just know, all I know is what Skylar Diggins-Smith has just said. I don't know um the truth behind anything, but I will say your point about you know, when a lot of things around you are going wrong, you may want to ask yourself, am I the issue? Not saying that this is related to Skylar Diggins-Smith at all because I don't know that situation. But in general, I do agree with your point. Above the Cloud says it seems people are underestimating the challenges slash pushback female athletes face when pregnant. This issue is well documented across all types of sports, unfortunately. Yeah, Above the Clouds, and I'm not sure if everyone knows this, but there was an issue with Nike and the way that they treated their runners back in, like, I don't know, several years ago, where if a female runner got pregnant, they you know, they wouldn't get paid or something, like their deal wouldn't allow them to get paid while they're pregnant. And, like, so it's definitely a thing. There's definitely challenges that female athletes face when they do get pregnant. That I think that for sure is a thing. Milo says Skylar was very demonstrative on the court and very negative. Okay. Milo went to a game in 2022 and is letting us know what they thought about what happened. Um all right. DRZJ87 says building all these super squads just makes the argument for WNBA expansion stronger. Too much concentrated talent, too many talented players early in their careers getting cut, and not enough parity. Well, yeah. So you all look forward to 2025. That is when we will see a new expansion team in the Bay Area. So that is pretty great. I am I am very much excited about that. Um we have yeah, we have a lot to look forward to in 2025 when we have that additional new team. We may have more teams after that. We will see. We will see what the WNBA does with securing a new squad. Let's see. Milo says, I'm a season ticket holder. Skylar was yelling profanity at teammates, opponents, rolling her eyes at many bad shots, and the Mercury were a mess, but she added to it, not made it better. Well, that doesn't sound great at all. That Milo, I'll take your word for it. That doesn't sound that does not sound good. Yeah, that does not sound good at all. Milo also added, that's why players are not speaking up for her. Diana Taurasi is annoying, yes, but um, but not belittling to teammates. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see um if any of the players that were on the Phoenix Mercury at the time do decide to speak up. But as of right now, I haven't heard anything from any of the other players. Um, Brian says they need a team in Toronto and Denver. I would agree with that. I would say though we should have the Denver team first before we go out of the country and start to make an international league when we barely have teams in the U.S. So I'm just saying. I'm just saying. America says I must have missed some Skylar Diggins-Smith news. Yeah. So America, if you rewind, if you just go back probably, I don't know, 10 minutes, I would say, you'll be able to take a listen at to what as to what the news is for Skylar Diggins-Smith. Actually, let's just quickly here. I'll quickly go through it again. Sorry for the folks who were here earlier and already heard me do the spiel about it. So here's what Skylar Diggins-Smith had to say. She said she first started off letting us know what her first experience with former Phoenix Mercury head coach Vanessa Nygaard was. She said, around this time 2 years ago, I was meeting our new coach in person for the first time, and she said, "Hey, Skylar." Well, first, she extended her hand and said, "Happy Black History Month." So, awkward first meeting for sure. And then someone asked Skylar to tell us about what was going on with Diana Taurasi. And Skylar says the following. She says, "I stated the obvious, stuck up for Sandy, stuck up for Brittany Griner, stuck up for my teammates, played too good, demanded to be coached, didn't stay in my place or bow down, stopped playing when I was pregnant, and that's about it." All right, so that's basically what Skylar had to say. So that's a quick rundown of what happened. We are about to get into the Chicago Sky news. So if there's anything else related to Skylar Diggins-Smith, let me know, and we are going to get into it. Lou says some are overly critical of outspoken women or certain types that wouldn't dare speak up for themselves. JD says, put a team in Philly, make Don the coach. Y'all, Don ain't leaving South Carolina. Don is not leaving South Carolina. And if I was Don, I wouldn't either. Honestly, I think now maybe this is a controversial take. We'll see. We'll see what y'all think about it. But I really think that in the women's basketball game, and maybe in the men's too, I'm not totally sure in the men's, but in the women's game, it is better to be a coach in college than a coach in the WNBA. In terms of longevity in your on your team, I would say one of the rarest people in the WNBA is Cheryl Reeve. She's been with the Minnesota Lynx for an extremely long time, but that is hard to find. If you look at the Seattle Storm, Noelle Quinn is only a couple years in. If you look at the Phoenix Mercury, they just got a new coach. If you look at who else? Tanisha Wright, newish coach. If you look at the guy who was the coach at Connecticut and went over to the LA Sparks. I'm blanking on his name, but new coach at LA. If you look at Stephanie White, new coach with the Connecticut Sun. If you look at Teaspoon, new coach with the Chicago Sky. You go all across the board. There is just so much change that happens in the WNBA in terms of coaching, because if you're not winning, look at Sandy Brondello. Sandy Brondello was with the Phoenix Mercury. They were like, you're not winning. You didn't win us a championship. You got to go. So she left and went to the New York Liberty. And if the New York Liberty don't win a championship in the next 2 years, they're gonna get rid of her there as well. The plight of a WNBA coach and NBA coach, and for the most part, most professional coaching roles, you don't have that much of a leash. You do not have that much of a leash, and it hurts your ability to sort of progress over time and see incremental changes and sort of have ebbs and flows when stuff happens, right? So if you let's look at the college game. Let's look at the college game. Um, you have Don Staley, who's been with the South Carolina Gamecocks for a long time, right? You have Tara Vanderveer, who has been with the Stanford Cardinals for over 30 years. She has experienced waves of when Stanford was very good and then times when Stanford wasn't very good. But the difference between college and the WNBA is that college, it feels like they allow you to ride the wave a little bit longer, right? So whereas in the WNBA you may have a leash of about 2 years, maybe. Whereas in the WNBA, whereas in college you get 5, 6, 7 years, you know, and you're trying to make it work. So I think in terms of coaching, like it's more of a leash. You have more of a leash to sort of build continuity with your team, and sort of like build over time. Look at Adia Barnes. She's been at Arizona for a long while now. Look at Gina Oriema. Like, these are coaches who have been at their program, and I'm just mentioning some of the well-known ones, but you can go down the list. You can look at the ACC, you can look at the ACC, you can look at the SEC, you can look at the Pac-12. Like, there's a lot of continuity when it comes to coaching. Brenda Freeze at Maryland. Thank you so much, Kimberly. I just saw your message. Yes, absolutely. She's been at Maryland for forever. And then back in the day, y'all probably remember the sort of, in my mind, OGs of the women's college game. You had Sylvia Hatchell. Sylvia Hatchett, I think, yeah, at University of North Carolina. You had Gail Gestincourse, who was at Duke for an extremely long time, and it was her. I think it was her decision to leave. You had just so many people, so many people. C. Vivian Stringer, yes, Lou A. C. Vivian Stringer has been was with Rutgers for a very long time. Pat Summitt, like, there has been so much continuity in the college game that just doesn't exist in the WNBA. And so if I am a college coach at a solid program, why would I ever leave? Why would I ever leave to coach in the WNBA? It doesn't make any sense. So that's my hot take. I don't know if that's a hot take or not, but that's my take about it. No, Dawn Staley should not take a coaching job in the WNBA. She should not. In my opinion, she should not. Yeah. So yeah, those are my thoughts. Let me know. let me know if y'all think my comments are wild on that front. Let's see. DRZ says, yeah, I wouldn't leave South Carolina if I was Dawn either. But Becky might be paving the way for other former coaches to get a payday in the pros. Maybe, but the difference between Becky Hammon and these college coaches is that Becky Hammon was never a head coach before her WNBA job. That's no shade at all to Becky Hammon, but like, it's like apples and oranges, right? Becky Hammon was an assistant coach for a very long time. So is she paving the way for former NBA assistant coaches to be able to have a head coaching position in the WNBA? Yes. Look at Teaspoon. Teaspoon is now with the Chicago Sky after being an assistant coach with the New Orleans Pelicans. So yes, paving the way for sure. Quick segue, guys. We have 214 people in the chat right now. I really do appreciate all y'all for joining. If I can ask, if about 40 of y'all can hit that like button, that would be really, really awesome. Would love to get to 100 likes on this video. Yeah, just if you could, please hit that like button. We are talking all things women's basketball. Talking about some of the chaos that happened today. We earlier we talked about Skylar Diggins-Smith and what happened with her. We are about to move into the Chicago Sky and what is going on with my team. Y'all know that I'm not biased when it comes to college basketball. Um, I am biased when it comes to the Chicago Sky. I try to do WNBA commentary across the board, but with the Chicago Sky, I let my fandom come out, and I'm not just sort of like Quita the commentator. I'm more of Quita the fan. So I do want to just sort of like walk through you all's, I want to walk through my thoughts about what has happened, the implosion of the Chicago Sky. Rube says, great points, Quita. Lou says, let's go. Mike says, college coach, job security. It's only a hot seat if you're expected to win. K Mora says, I heard Brenda was toxic. Really? I'll look into that. Audrey, we did talk about Skylar Diggins-Smith. If you just rewind, I don't know. If you rewind like, I don't know, let's say 20 minutes from this point, you should see the comments about Skylar Diggins-Smith and what she had to say. All right. I think y'all listen to Braxton. Braxton says, hit the likes button. Best content for women's basketball on YouTube. Appreciate that. I try to do my best. All right, y'all. Can we talk about some can we talk about my favorite team? Can we talk about the Chicago Sky? Y'all, there has been a crazy implosion of the Chicago Sky. And yeah, Rube says, definitely curious about your take on the Sky. Yeah. Let's get into it, Rube. So, the Sky have decided to do something today. We have a massive trade update, guys. So this is news as of this morning. So the Sky traded Kalia Copper and Morgan Birch to the Phoenix Mercury. And in return, the Sky received Michaela Onyenwere, Brianna Turner, the third round pick in this year's draft, the second pick in next year's draft, or second round pick in next year's draft. And we actually got that back. This was a pick that we actually traded last year to get Marina Mabrey. So there was a lot of people that was like, oh, this is great. The Sky got so many draft picks. Well, yeah, but we got back our draft pick that we gave away last year for Marina Mabrey. We also get the first round pick in the 2026 draft, and we have rights to swap picks for the 2026 second round picks as well. So yeah, let's get into how we got here. First of all, y'all, I do actually, as we do this, I do want to give a massive shout out to Annie at the Chicago Sun-Times, who has been like killing the Chicago Sky coverage. Y'all, if y'all are not following her, y'all need to follow her. The best content when it comes to women's, I would say one of the best W journalists that we have in the game right now. One of the best women's basketball journalists. And especially when it comes to Chicago Sky, if you want to know anything about the Chicago Sky, yeah, sure, come to me. But I'm probably going to Annie to find out what's truly happening. So shout out to her, y'all. If y'all not following her, y'all need to follow her. Great content about women's basketball. So, she had some coverage about the Chicago Sky, and so yeah. Just wanted to give her a shout out. But anyway, let's get into my thoughts. Let's get into my thoughts about Chicago Sky. So how did we get here? So the reason why the Chicago Sky are in the position that they're in is because we have chosen to not invest in our team. We've chosen. So the Chicago Sky is one of the rare teams in the W that is not associated with a NBA team. I mean, not a rare team. You have a couple of teams like that, right? The Chicago Sky and the Chicago Bulls are not affiliated. You know, we're not a sister team to them. Yes, they like us. We like them. I'm saying us like I'm with the Chicago Sky, but I'm a fan, so I feel like I'm with them. They like us. We like them, but in terms of resources, it's not merged. When you look at the New York Liberty, they take advantage of all of the stuff that the Brooklyn Nets have to offer. When it comes to the Phoenix Mercury, they take advantage of all the stuff that the Phoenix Suns have. You know, same thing for the LA Sparks. You know, same thing for the Minnesota Lynx. This is something that exists for other basketball teams, and then for the ones that don't have that sort of connection, there's other things that they do, right? So if you look at the Seattle Storm, they're not associated with a women's basketball, like they're not associated with an NBA team because there is no NBA team in Seattle, but they have investors that have decided, okay, we want to make Seattle the destination for women's basketball, so we are going to build our own facility for practicing. We are going to build our own stuff and not have to rely on renting out space at a park district or whatever. You know, the Las Vegas Aces, they built their own facilities. You know, you heard Candace Parker when she left the Chicago Sky, and she was like, I finally have my own locker and all this. Like, that's real. At the Aces, she got that. At the Aces, they have a huge practice facility. They have amenities that are not tied. They have stuff that's not just about the salary. So the salary cap is real. There's only there's a certain amount of money that the teams can pay their players. But the difference between the Chicago Sky and other teams in the WNBA is that the Chicago Sky don't want to part with money, and that's hurting this team. You know, we lucked out with Candace Parker deciding to come to our squad last year. We lucked out with that. I mean, not last year, a couple years ago, and won us a championship. We lucked out with that. We didn't have really anything to offer her in terms of like amenities. The Sky literally practiced at a recreation center. They practice at a recreation center. Like, how awkward is it to be a pro athlete in the WNBA, and you have other teams practicing at great facilities, and you scurrying on over to practice at a recreation center? Investment matters. Investment is important, and investment is what is going to draw certain players to certain teams. Would Nneka Ogwumike and Skylar Diggins-Smith had wanted to go to Chicago Sky? Yes, the Chicago Sky was in the running. However, I believe it was the facilities. It was all the amenities that come around alongside the actual salary that they get. That was the difference. The Chicago Sky could have paid Skylar and Nneka the same amount that Seattle paid them. What's the difference? The difference is that Seattle has a practice facility. Seattle has probably a lot more staff that is sort of at the beck and call of these players. And it's not like the Sky don't have money. I saw an article, I think Annie wrote an article about how the Sky was sort of touting how much money they raised and how they have a high value for WNBA teams. But it's like, okay, well, who cares if you're just sitting on the money? Like, invest it and make your team better, make your team desirable. Chicago's a cool place to be. You know, we got the beach, we got We got the lakefront, we got shops, we got the Bean. We got a lot of Chicago has a lot of stuff. We have a huge art district that is amazing. We have world-class museums. We have a lot of stuff to offer. But the Chicago Sky have to actually be competitive and have to spend money. So number one, that is the big reason as to why the Chicago Sky is in this position, because they don't want to part with money. Another reason I say is because the Chicago Sky, they had James Wade be the head coach and GM at the same time. That was a huge factor in this thing. Absolutely huge factor. Because he was in panic mode after Candace Parker left, and after we won the championship the previous year. We came back, tried to win it again, failed. Team broke up. Candace Parker left, Courtney Vandersloot left. Allie Quigley is semi-retired or whatever status she's in. And the starting lineup basically blew up. It was just Copper left. And he was in panic mode. He was in panic mode, like, oh man, I have to do something. So he decides to trade away the store, trade away all our future draft picks for Marina Mabrey. No shade to Marina Mabrey. I like Marina Mabrey. But we gave away too much for her. Way too much for her. And now you're like, oh crap, we need to be in rebuild mode. We have nothing. And this offseason, James Wade leaves in the middle of the season. We get Teaspoon. Great. We sign Kalia Copper to a max deal. Great. She signed with us for the long term. She's seemingly excited about Teaspoon being with the team. Then we see last week the fact that two of our starters are gone in Alana Smith and Courtney Williams going to the Minnesota Lynx. And I truly believe, I don't know this for a fact, but I truly believe that the reason why Kalia Copper is now gone, I don't necessarily think it's because of Teaspoon. Maybe it is. Maybe I don't think it is. I think the reason why she left is because she's probably like, hey, I'm left with nothing. Two of the starters are gone. We couldn't get any of the top top free agents. And I want to be on a competitive team. So I want to go. I want to bounce. And then they found a way to trade her. So that's what I believe sort of led up to all of this stuff. So yeah, that is my sorry y'all. That was a huge rant that I just did. That was a huge rant. But I do want to get to some of y'all comments though on what y'all had to say about it. Pam and Egg said need big money to compete. Facts. Broderick says the Mystics have their own new arena. They do share the Wizards, Washington Wizards owner though. Yeah. Braxton says, what is the roster looking like after this trade? Can you pull it up? Yes, I will. I will pull it up in just a sec. Carol says, right. Why brag about the money, but not use it for your team? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Phil says, I think Chicago would be a good destination. It's one of the biggest and best cities in the USA. Yeah. I mean, I'm biased, but I agree with that. I completely agree with that. Xavier says, this is why WNBA teams need to relocate to cities that want a team to support. Like the Chicago Sky got to compete with two MLB teams during their season. That's rough. Yeah, but Xavier, they have the money. The Chicago Sky ownership group has the money. They bragged about being a high value team. But yet, this team decides to not spend their money to make the team actually better. there's a huge difference, I would say. One thing in addition that I would add is the fact that the Chicago Sky, they're not owned by billionaires. That's a difference. Joe Tsai, who owns the New York Liberty and the Brooklyn Nets, billionaire. You look at Mark Davis, owns the Las Vegas Aces, and the Raiders, I believe, billionaire. So the Sky doesn't necessarily have a ton of money to really compete with some of the other teams, but you have the valuation. Why not spend your money and make some stuff happen? So yeah. Sorry, I do apologize for this crazy this rant. As a Sky fan, I just had to let out my frustration about what's going on, because this is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. Rube says Chicago is a big market. It's ridiculous they don't have their own facilities. Yeah, absolutely. Nina says, just got here, but did you see you got a shout out on the WNBA Reddit? Oh, I did? Oh, that's awesome. Thanks, WNBA Reddit. I didn't see that. If someone could drop the link for that, that would be awesome. Catherine says, we feel your pain, Quita. Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Malik says, wonder how Teaspoon is feeling. Y'all, I feel so bad for Teaspoon. This is a coach that I personally wanted after James Wade told us that he was peacing out and going up north to Canada. I wanted Teaspoon to be our coach. She's now our coach, and I feel like she's being set up for failure. I truly feel like this lady is being set up for failure, and I don't like it. I don't. So the Chicago Sky is going to be a terrible team this upcoming year. As a fan, I can see the roster. I can clearly see the roster, and we ain't going nowhere. We gonna win some games, but we ain't going nowhere. If we do, it will be a coaching marvel by Teaspoon, and she would deserve a coach of the year honor. If this team, as it is right now, if this team actually makes it to the playoffs, or is like in the 7th seed or something like that, that would be a miracle, and she would deserve a raise, and she would deserve coach of the year or something, because the way this team is structured, we're gonna be terrible. We are going to absolutely be terrible. And I'm gonna pull up the roster real quick. Let me pull up the roster. All right, so this is the roster for the Chicago Sky. This looks kind of small. Let me kind of zoom in. There we go. All right. So this is the Sky roster. So we have Lindsay Allen. Diamond DeShields is back with the Chicago Sky. Dana Evans, PG1. This is one thing I am actually very excited about, is the fact that Dana Evans will be the number 1 point guard for the team, or at least that is my hope. My hope is that they did not bring Lindsay Allen over here to start. That this is going to be Dana Evans' team, and I can't wait to see her rock it at the point guard position. We have Isabel Harrison, Sika Kone, Maria Mabry, Michaela Onyenwere, Taya Reamer, Brianna Turner, Elizabeth Williams, and Lee Yeru. So those are the players on the Sky roster. And if you compare this roster to, other teams, we just can't compete. We just can't compete with the roster that we have. We can't. Tyron says Chicago is getting the practice facility next year. That's what Sky ownership and whatnot have been talking about. However, it takes time to build a facility. It takes time to put in a multi-year agreement with an existing facility. That stuff takes time, and so the fact that we still haven't heard anything about it, it makes me doubt the fact that we will actually get a real practice facility and not practice at a Saks Recreation Center in Deerfield. You know, I I have no good feelings about I have no good feelings about what's going to happen with that practice facility. I don't believe it's happening next year. I really don't. I hope I'm wrong. I really do. I really do, but I don't think I'm wrong. Pam and Egg says the LA Sparks are lost in the woods too. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The chosen one says, "Let it out, sis. I'm letting it out. I'm letting it. I'm letting it out. I'm letting it out. I am letting it out." Rube says, "Any thoughts on their new GM?" Um, Not really. I know he's a guy who had some great relationships with Sky players. Um, Most notably, he had a really good relationship with Kalia Copper. At least from the outside looking in, it looks like he did. Um, I have no idea what his vision is. I don't know what his vision is for this squad. Um, I don't know what his goals are for the squad. I want I need to see like an interview with him. Um, 'Cause since he was announced as the GM, I haven't seen much of anything publicly about like here's the mission and vision for this team. What is it? What does the team look like? You know, what are you thinking about when you're constructing this team? This is not me saying that I don't have faith in him or anything. I don't know him, and I want to understand what he is looking to build with this team. And I'm hoping for his success. Absolutely, as a Sky fan, I'm hoping for his success, but I don't know. I really do not know. Um, Country said, "Quitted that roster ain't so bad." Really? Come on, Country. You take this roster. You take this and this is not me dogging the Chicago Sky because I'm a ride with these players till the wheels fall off. You know, for me, it is Skyway or the highway. That's what this is. This is Skyway or the highway for me. I am a ride or die Sky fan. I will rock with whoever we have on the roster. So this is no shade to the people on our roster, because I really do like. I'm a huge fan of Dana Evans. I'm such a huge fan. I got her jersey. I'm hoping that Rebecca Gardner resigns with the team because my mom got her jersey. You know, we're big fans and we'll root for whoever is on this team. However, as a Sky fan, I am also not delusional on the roster that we have. You look at the roster and you compare that to the Las Vegas Aces. You compare it to New York. You compare it to Atlanta. You compare it to Dallas. You compare it to the Phoenix Mercury. You compare it to Seattle. You compare it to the Minnesota Lynx. Our squad can't compete with that. I don't believe our squad can. Now, if we pull a miracle and whatnot, that would be amazing. That would absolutely be amazing. But as of right now, I don't see it. I don't see it as of right now. I do not see it. Um, the chosen one says, "Is Chene playing this upcoming season?" No, I don't believe so. I don't believe so. Y'all, I am so upset about this whole thing that like my voice has been like messed up all day. um, what up, RC? RC says, Quita, stay loyal as always, and you should. And RC said he's going to miss Morgan Birch. Yes, I was a fan of Morgan Birch. I really was. I really was a fan. Um, and still am a fan. So Lorenzo, wait, where's Lorenzo? Lorenzo asked the question: who do the Sky draft? So here's my take. As of right now, the news just came through that we're getting a third pick. I had not really been thinking about the draft as an the 2024 draft as an opportunity for the Chicago Sky because we didn't have a first round pick. Now we do. So, as of today, I believe that the Chicago Sky needs to draft Rakia Jackson for the number 3 pick. We need to draft Rakia Jackson from the University of Tennessee. That is the player that I believe we should draft. I believe that Rakia Jackson is a player who just has a boatload of upside. Absolutely a boatload of upside. To me, she reminds me a little bit of a mix of Copper, a player who is able to drive and get to the paint, and also a player that's able to shoot a little bit as well. She's just she has a tenacity around her that I believe if Rakia Jackson was drafted to the Chicago Sky, I believe that she would one fit very well with Teaspoon and what Teaspoon is trying to do with the Chicago Sky, and just sort of like that defensive mentality, that intensity on offense. I I really do think that Rakia Jackson would be perfect for the Chicago Sky. We'll see what they decide to do. Uh, Also, we'll see if I really do think that Rakia Jackson should make it, should fall to the third pick, for the Chicago Sky to pick them up. Um, I I really like Rakia Jackson, and I really could see Teaspoon sort of building her up to be a great player. I could absolutely see that. I mean, she's great in college, but like I could see her sort of helping us to make it to the next level because we don't really have a small forward. We don't. Not really. So I could see her immediately slotting in on that front. And if I mean the Chicago Sky doesn't really have much of anything left to offer in terms of a trade, but if there's any way that we can get another first round pick in the trade, that would be amazing. Um, Ensuring that we don't trade Dana Evans. Dana Evans to me should be the only player um, that that we should not trade. In my opinion, I really do think she is the future of this team as our starting point guard. So I would say everybody else should be on the trading block. I really do. Um, RC says I can't say too much. What do you mean, RC? But Q, what would you do if Rakia doesn't want to come here? I mean, I've never I don't know what Rakia thinks about the Chicago Sky. Again, I hadn't been really checking for the Chicago Sky as a destination for any of the first round draft picks. So I don't know if she doesn't want to come to Chicago Sky. I mean, I think it's a bummer, but I also wouldn't blame her in terms of like, it'd be better in terms of facilities and all that stuff to get drafted somewhere else. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that front. Xavier says I think Brinks is the perfect fit. I would be cool with Cameron Brinks as well. Absolutely. Like my first pick would be Rakia Jackson, but yes, Cameron Brink would be amazing to be on the team. I would definitely be down for that. Absolutely be down for that. Um I saw some comment about Paige and I missed it. Nolan says that's a good take. Thank you, Nolan. I can't find it anymore, but I saw some pick. I mean, I saw some comment about Paige Beckers and if the Chicago Sky should draft her. I would say no on that front. Um, I don't think that the Chicago Sky should draft. I don't think the Chicago Sky should draft Paige Beckers because Paige Beckers, I like her as a player. She's great, but she's injury prone. And as a massive Sky fan, I want players who I believe are going to be available for it all. And she's had a lot of injuries, a lot of injuries. Um and I don't want to take that risk. I don't want to take that risk as a Sky fan. I don't want to take the risk. Country says they will have some good options with the number 3 pick. Yeah, we will have some good. Yeah, we'll have some good options. Nina says y'all are sleeping on Breezy and Diamond. Are we? Um, I I don't think I'm sleeping on them. I mean, the reality is our roster is how it is. I like Diamond. Diamond was a former player for the Sky. She was with us for a long time. Like Sky fans love Diamond DeShields. So, but you have to be honest about the roster that you have. Diamond DeShields is going to ball out. Diamond DeShields, she has gotten through a huge, huge, huge health issue, and she feels like she's back, and I'm very excited for that. And I know that Diamond DeShields is going to show everybody that she can still ball. So no issues with Diamond DeShields. I think Diamond DeShields is going to be good, but you have to admit what we see on paper for the Chicago Sky for the roster that we have. You have to just admit reality, and that's where I'm at with this. That's where I'm at. Um, in terms of Brianna Turner, I mean, I only know her in the Phoenix Mercury, like like I only really know her from being on the Phoenix Mercury, and she's not a scorer. She's not. We need a scorer. We need the Chicago Sky needs people who can score. So I am personally worried about that. No, like I hope that Brandon Turner has a really good breakout year where she just scores. She's more offensive minded and ready to score some points. But we'll see. But as a Sky fan, I'm rooting for these players. I want them to be very successful. I want to be wrong, but I also have to admit reality, right? So that's what I'm doing. Philip says, "Hey guys, the Sky is up to something. Don't give up too soon. Something is coming soon." Phillips, what do you know that we need to know? Tell us. Tell us, Phillips. Tell us what's going on. Country says, "What do you think about a healthy Diamond DeShields?" I mean, I kind of talked about it, but yeah, I am excited that Diamond DeShields is back healthy, and I'm very much interested to see her play with the Chicago Sky. It's kind of cool that she's able to return back to the team that she used to be on. And shout out Diamond DeShields. Let's go. Let's go. Let's make some stuff happen. Bree Wayne says, "What is the T on Arizona? Q. It's the fact that they are hemorrhaging players, and they recently held a open tryout, similar to what TCU had to do a couple weeks ago. So I was going to go through that, and I will go through that in just a little bit. But that's a T. That's a T. RC, you wowed, RC. RC says Chicago Sky should trade their entire roster to Indiana for Caitlin Clark. Folks, that's it. Whatever, RC. Nolan says, I can't help but to think that Peely's draft stock is going to rise as she goes through the tournament. It will rise. Now, I will say that I would love for Alyssa Peely to end up with the Chicago Sky. I would absolutely love it. I really have enjoyed watching Alyssa Peely play this year, and even last year as well. But I don't think it's wise for the Chicago Sky to use the third pick in the draft for her. If there's any way that the Chicago Sky can get another first round pick, sort of like at that 7 position, I would say yes. Get Alyssa Peely, because Alyssa Peely is a player she's not quite. She's sort of like an unconventional player. Her style is not like Alyssa Thomas, but in terms of their ability to just sort of like not really have a position, she has that ability. Like Alyssa Peely is short. So what is she, a post player? Yeah, kind of, but also she's a player that can shoot threes as well. So it's sort of like how do you place a player like Alyssa Peely? If we can get Alyssa Peely, I would be so happy. Absolutely happy. I would be through the roof excited. But I don't know if it makes sense to get her at number 3 if you're the Chicago Sky. Let's see. Brianna says Breezy has never been asked to really contribute offensively, so I'm interested to see if this move changes her aggressiveness on that end. Yeah, I'd be interested to see that. I would be very much interested to see that. All right, guys. So I did want to I didn't want to talk about Kelsey Plum and what she had to say about Caitlin Clark, and Caitlin Clark being ready to pass her NCAA record. K Mora says, hold on. K Mora says, I want the Mystics to get Peely. Sorry. Well, we may get her first. Who knows? Gretchen, I think she goes to Phoenix. That's my opinion. I think Della Don goes to Phoenix. Tyron says Chicago should go for Haley Van Lith. So I know, Tyron, you're joking. Definitely not a third pick, but I actually would like to see Haley Van Lith come to Chicago Sky. I'd be cool with that. Personally, as a Sky fan, I'd be cool with that. As a second round pick. As a second round pick. But yeah, I would very much be interested to see Haley Van Lith on the Chicago Sky roster. Not as a third pick in the draft, no, not at all. But as a solid pick, in the second round, yes. I would very much be down for that, because she's a player that's talented. I know there's a lot of people who dog Haley Van Lith, and as a shooting guard, I think she's good. Really good, The problem is this year she has been this year she's been kind of she's been out of position basically. That's what I'm trying to say. She's been out of position, and that's hurt her ability to really make some stuff happen, right? All right. So, with that being said, I do want to go through the comments that Kelsey Plum made about um Caitlin Clark. All right. First, I thought this was kind of funny. I thought this was kind of funny. Um, um, uh, Kelsey Plum was talking to the reporter, and Diana Taurasi was like, Caitlin Clark, Caitlin Clark. I thought it was kind of funny. Anyway, let's take a look at that. Oh, actually, I don't think I can hear it. Hold on. I've been in this program. Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark. I love it. I don't even remember what I was saying. Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark. I thought that was kind of funny. Anyway, all right, let's go through the comments. Or the comments that Kelsey Plum had to say about Caitlin Clark. So she act like, actually, hold on, let me share my screen one more time and I'll show you specifically what she had to say. All right. Is that showing? There we go. So this is courtesy of KCCI News. Kelsey Plum said, I'm actually very grateful to pass that baton. I'm very happy for her. And she talked about when she hit that scoring mark. It was sort of a low part of her life, and and how she's happy that Caitlin is going to be able um to to hit that mark. So here's what Kelsey Plum said. She said, "I remember it was very much a low part of my life. I felt like a lot of pressure. It felt like a lot of pressure. My identity was kind of caught up in their record. I hope everyone in the media takes time to understand that Caitlin Clark is not just a basketball player, but a young woman that has feelings and emotions. She carries it with grace, but there's a lot to handle there." So I thought that was like great perspective that Kelsey Plum gave to everyone. Um, and here's also what she said. She said, in terms of Caitlin Clark's mental health, she said, that's someone you know who has good days and bad days. Make sure she's checked in on and see how she's doing. That's to me what I care about most, and I I wish I had someone that stepped up and cared about that when I was going through it. So I thought, like, you know, there's just Kelsey Plum just being awesome. I thought that was a great thing that uh-oh. I thought that was like awesome that uh Kelsey Plum said that, because like we know that she's very like open about the struggles that she's had before, and her time sort of in that later part of her time at Washington. For Kelsey Plum, she wasn't mentally in the best space, and I thought that it's awesome that she's just sort of looking out for Caitlin in that way. Um, and as we all talk about Caitlin Clark and what she's doing, and whether people like or dislike the media focus that's around her, I think it's important just to remember, like, as Kelsey Plum said, remember her humanity, remember who she is as a as a person, not just as a basketball player. So I thought that was a great comment. I just wanted to share it with everybody because I think sometimes it's good to have that type of perspective, because I feel like a lot of times people kind of get in their camps and they, you know, say whatever they want to say about a player and forget the fact that that these players are real human beings, and they're real human beings that have real thoughts, real feelings, real emotions, and you can't be reckless, right? And I think that goes, for a lot of things, right? I think in terms of like commentary about a lot of people, I think people tend to be a bit reckless, um these players are not robots, you know they're not robots. They're individuals who are ballers, very good basketball players. And they also have emotions, they have thoughts, they have feelings, they have lots of stuff um going on. And it's important to just sort of it's important to just sort of recognize that, right? um and actually I actually have audio of that part of the interview. So instead of me just talking it out, you all might appreciate it more if you can actually just hear it from the horse's mouth. I'm not calling Kelsey Plum a horse, just saying that is an expression. All right, so let's listen to what Kelsey Plum had to say. It's basically what I just said, but you can actually hear her say it for herself. Oh wait, I have this muted.
Being a point guard, being a facilitator for this team. So that's really all I'm focused on right now.
And how do you feel about the potential for Caitlin to break your record, your scoring record?
No, I'm excited for her. It's really cool to see her do what she's doing, bring attention to the game. So I'm happy for her. It's not a matter of if but when.
Yeah.
So no, it's been really cool to see her kind of take off and what she's doing. She's doing it at such a high level. So it'll be cool.
About the potential to compete against her when she enters the league.
Yeah, I like competing against everyone.
Oh, ready, run up.
Yeah, so that's another piece of what Kelsey Plum had to say. Yeah. So guys, I did just want to let you all know what was going on that front. Yeah. Let me know what y'all think about what Kelsey Plum had to say. Rube says this is awesome of Plum Dog. Facts. Absolutely. Catherine says really gracious on KP's part to say that. Yep. Oh, someone has had a question about Teresa Weatherspoon. I call her Teaspoon. But yes, yeah, that's her nickname, Teaspoon. But yeah, her name is Teresa Weatherspoon. America says, "Yep, Plum Dog doing Plum Dog things." Facts. maybe I'll separate this out and make the video Plum Dog doing Plum Dog things. Nina says she was still first round draft pick and felt the pressure. If anything, Caitlin Clark would feel even more pressure right now. Not saying anything either way, but she's a human at the end of the day. So that was in response to my phone, but I didn't see my phone's comment. Here we go. My phone says Caitlin. Also, everybody, I have noticed this as a thing in the different comments for live streams and just for regular comments for videos. Caitlin, her name is not spelled with a Y. All right. Yeah, it is not spelled with a Y. If you're trying to spell Caitlin Clark's name, it is CAITLIN. All right. Um, I this my phone. This is not directed towards you. It's just I feel like every day when I look at my comments, I see at least 10 people spell Caitlin Clark's name wrong. So I just wanted to, for those watching, her name does not have a Y in it. And also I've seen people use a K instead of a C for her name. So it's a C-A-I Caitlin. Caitlin. My phone says Caitlin looks to be enjoying her journey, not dismissing what Kelsey is saying, but Caitlin is the top of women's basketball world right now. When Kelsey did it, it wasn't viewed in the same light. I mean, I was a big women's basketball fan at the time when Kelsey Plum was doing her thing, and like Kelsey Plum's name was everywhere. Um, so and also, it's important to know just because from the outside looking in, um, it looks like a certain situation is what it is. It may not be the case. Um, there's a lot of people who do suffer in silence. I am not saying that is Caitlin Clark's case, but um, there's things that people can be going through that you have no idea because they put on a brave face and whatnot. And I think what Kelsey Plum is reminding us is that um, our words, the word that we say about someone, there is someone on the other end receiving those words, and people are humans. And they have they go through stuff, and so really, we should be mindful of that, and recognize the humanity in everybody, whether that's Caitlin, whether that's whether that's folks in the chat, whether that's Kyra, America, Nina, Xavier, like there's someone on the other end of what you say. And so it's important for us to have that in mind and really recognize the humanity in other people, and not just think of other people as robots, or people to be argued with, or like in a negative way. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully that made sense. Country says people say horrible things because they can hide behind the internet. Yeah, yeah. I think I saw, like, I've been seeing that since I've started this channel. I've seen lots of, like, um I've seen, like, crazy ends of the spectrum of humanity. I've seen people um uh be very gracious about what other people are doing, and take good faith thoughts about what's going on. Um and I've seen the opposite end of where people dislike what someone had to say about someone, so they say the worst about them, or they're like, I hate this person. And, like, y'all, hate's a strong word, you know? Do you really? You know? Country, I think you're absolutely right, because when you can't see somebody, you you think the worst of them sometimes. And you say things that I don't believe people would say if they were sitting across the room from each other. There's stuff that I've seen people say about Caitlin Clark that I'm just like, why would you say that about somebody? Especially about a kid. I mean, yes, she's 22, but, like, she's she's a young adult who's still trying to figure out her life. There's stuff that people have said about her that I'm just like, how could you say that? There's stuff that I've seen people say about each other in different comments on Twitter, on YouTube, and whatnot, and I'm just like, sometimes I'm just like, where's the humanity, guys? Where's the humanity? And then I saw, like, y'all saw yesterday's video that I did about yesterday's version of Women's Basketball Weekly, where people were just wild in the comments and saying stuff about Cheryl Swoops that I'm just like, really? Like, like, I'm just saying, like, I think we as society have to get we have to get back to being civil with people. We have to start thinking about um the goodness in people and not just sort of taking everything that someone says um, in bad faith. And I don't know if we can get to a better spot as like women's basketball fans, as society, you know. I just feel like everything is just negative, 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 negative. Like, and it's just like, and people just want a reason to hate someone else or to say something bad because maybe they're having a rough day and it helps them to put someone else down or what. But like, um, it's wild. But I just say one thing, y'all better start praying. I'm just saying, like, talk to God, man. You know, don't um get all of that hate out of you, because people are there's someone on the other side of everything you say. So that was a huge rant, and I apologize for that. But actually, I don't apologize for it. We need to be more civil as people. We need to be way more civil as people. Um, Country says, "Thank you, Quita. You have a growing platform. Thanks for using it so eloquently. I appreciate that, Country. Like I really do strive um to do that. Like I really do strive to do that. Nina says, I'm 22 and thank God every day I don't have a spotlight on my biggest mistakes. Yeah, like that. Can y'all imagine how rough that is? How messed up that is that like, you know, anything that's done is reported on, and not just reported on, like it's one thing for people to just report on it, but like for people to like misconstrue what you do in lots of different ways. Like you have to be super careful about what you say. You have to be super careful about your hand gestures, about like, like that's a huge magnifying glass on some 22-year-olds. Like that that is a huge magnifying glass. Lou says, I'm not sure about the negative things people have been saying about Caitlyn. It comes with the territory, unfortunately. Hope she has a strong sense of self and a strong support system. Yeah, I really do hope she has great people around her that can lift her up when she sees terrible stuff happen. Terrible stuff said about her online. For the J Spot Network, they said facts, country. People love to be uh, internet gangsters because they know they won't be held accountable. That is for sure a thing. Absolutely. Market says, I can't imagine how hard it is dealing with all of this stuff, especially when not many female hoopers have been in the same position as Caitlin Clark in right now, hype wise and fame wise. Yeah, I tell you this, Caitlin Clark is in unprecedented territories. Yes, yes. Back when Kelsey Plum was doing her thing, she had a lot of attention. Back when Asia Wilson was still hooping at South Carolina, she had a lot of attention. Back when Candace Parker was hooping at Tennessee, a lot of attention. You go down the list. Brianna Stewart at UConn, Sue Bird and Diana Taurasi at UConn. Lots of hype, lots of hype, lots of hype. However, I feel like this where we're at is just times 10 of what previous top talent in the WNBA has experienced, because you have the convergence of a lot of things. You have peak social media. You have everything being recorded. You have hot takes up the wazoo, you know, and that just leads to a lot of that leads to stuff being a little bit tougher for the Caitlin Clarks of the world, the Angel Reeses of the world, you know. Phil said the internet is truly a double-edged sword. Facts, yeah. You see the greatest parts of humanity and you see the worst parts of humanity on the same platform. It really is. It really is kind of wild. John says, I'm not an Aces fan, but that's why I really like Asia. She seems to be quiet and lets her play do the talking. Yeah, like Asia's style is great. Yeah. Also, she just released a book, guys. I don't know. I'm not much of a reader, but if you all are a reader, you may want to get her new book. Um, Earlis says, yes, more civility needed. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Um, uh, Marcus says, I'm rooting for y'all. Hopefully seeing Caitlin's success and putting y'all on the map make recruits come to y'all. Marcus also said, interesting. Marcus also said, I saw this tweet on Twitter, but Caitlin Clark's probably the first female hooper that people hate for non-sexist reasons, which says a lot about how far women's basketball has come. I guess on the positive side, I guess it shows. Yes. Nina says, I'm convinced that 99% of Caitlin Clark haters are 30-year-old men who smoke weed in their high school parking lots. Why? Interesting characterization. What? I don't know. What makes you think that? I'm very curious as to what makes you think that. Xavier says it's because we invest so much time, money, etc. into sports to the point that it's becomes comfortable to say things without a filter or compassion. Not saying it's right, but I get it. Xavier, I think you're onto something. I really do think you're onto something. That is a huge factor, right? That's a huge factor of where we are. I think you have something. I really do appreciate you sharing that comment because you got something. Y'all let me know if y'all agree with what Xavier had to say, because I think you're right. I think you have a point, because people have invested. They feel like they're in it, and they feel like they could say anything however they like, regardless of how wild it is, you know? David says, I understand people can make mistakes, but also you can apologize for making a mistake. That is also something that's acceptable. Absolutely. Absolutely, David. Like I think if you get it wrong, say you got it wrong and you're sorry about that, and you'll my bad. I'll try to make sure I'm on point next time, you know? Absolutely. It's never a problem to apologize. And I for one am, I try my best to, like, when people call stuff out, like, be like, oh man, my bad, I'm sorry about that, I didn't mean to do that, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's important to acknowledge, when you don't get it right. Acknowledge it, try to correct it in the future, and move on. Absolutely. Rube says, facts. People need to get that hate out of their hearts. Please, please get that hate out of your hearts. Because sometimes I'm just like, man, like, what's going on with people? Like, we need to, yeah. Catherine says, you're right, Quita. Let's use our comments to show care and to encourage others. Absolutely. And it is okay to be critical. Like, I am, and I'm not saying you think this, Catherine, but for those listening, I want to make sure that that folks are not thinking that I am saying we should say the best. We should only say good things. That's not what I'm saying. Be critical, absolutely, but in you being critical, think about it on the other end. If I was listening if I was on the receiving end of what I'm giving someone else, would I be okay with that? And if the answer is no, maybe the message is still the same, but the way that you're saying it is different, right? It's okay to be critical. Absolutely. I have been critical about players. I've been critical about coaches on this channel. I will continue to be. But there's a difference between pointing out different stuff that people can improve on and dogging someone and assuming the worst out of someone, right? There's a difference between that, and I did just want to state that for the folks watching who may be thinking that I'm saying always be positive. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying there's a civil way to say what you want to say without tearing down someone, right? So um Marcus said, I mean, it's not my observation, it's some dude on Twitter who said that, but he's right. Um Next to Air said Angel Reese gets it the worst. I don't know who gets it the worst or who gets it the best. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if Caitlyn gets it the worst. I don't know if Angel gets it the worst. All I know is it sucks. That's what I know. I know it sucks, and we as basketball fans, um, I think we need to encourage better of others. If we are not the ones participating in it, I think we need to um, try to help steer the conversation in a better tone. I mean, of course, there's no need to argue with other people and whatnot, but like, I don't know. I think there's a way for us to engage without sinking low down to like the people who want to sort of muck it up and say horrible stuff about people, right? Um Philip says we as people have to use more empathy, which is simply the ability to understand and share the feeling of another. Yes, absolutely, absolutely, guys. And this is not what I really intended to. This wasn't the conversation I intended to have on during the stream, but I really do think it's important. I really do think this conversation is important for us to have. Um, Nolan says, great conversations here. Basketball and a heart emoji. Yeah, absolutely. Like this is very needed. Marcus says, absolutely the hate on Angel be bothering me because they be calling her uh vile, like hood rat and all kinds of net. Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, why? You don't even know this girl. Like what? What are you talking about? Like why you like you know that song? I don't actually know the song, but like sometimes if I'm in a store, it's like it's some song. It's like they say, "Why you gotta be so rude? Don't you know I'm human?" Is it? Don't you know I'm human too? I think. I don't know. Anyway, that's what makes it. I'm just like, why you gotta be so rude, man? Like, what makes you want to say that about somebody? Like, especially about somebody that you don't even know. You've never met, never will meet. Why? like, it makes me wonder. It really does. It really does make me wonder. Um, let's see. Marcus says, I remember how much mess Angel caught from Natty, and it was way out of hand. Um, RC says, I know people are messy, but I never had anything against Angel Reese until she and her teammates were the opponents in the national title game. And that's cool. Like, absolutely. When a team faces or a player faces against your team, yes, you know, boo them. If you're in the stands, boo them. Um, jeer when they're shooting the free throw. Like, yes, absolutely. Be a fan and want your team to destroy them. But outside of that, you know, these are humans. Tyron says they really hate on Caitlin Clark. She will definitely dominate. Brianna Stewart was the MVP. She's not much better. She's not that much better. What? Than Caitlin Clark. Their skill sets. What? Oh, Tyron. So I would not. You know. I would not. I would not. Personally, I would not compare Caitlin Clark to Brianna Stewart. They're two completely different players. Maybe if you want to compare Caitlin Clark to like a guard of some sort, okay, maybe. But Brianna Stewart's a post player. Very very different player than Caitlin Clark. I personally I don't see real similarities in their game at all, really. So agree to disagree on that front. But your point, the point that I think you're making is that Caitlin Clark will be a great player in the WNBA, and that she will eventually be an MVP. And to your point of that, which if that's your point, then yes, I would agree with that. I do believe that Caitlin Clark is going to be a great player in the WNBA. Will she dominate right away? No, I don't believe so. I think it's going to take a couple years for her to really dial into the WNBA. That does not mean she's not going to be the rookie of the year. She likely will. She also could even be in the All-Star game. Probably will be in the All-Star game. She's going to get the votes for it. So, but eventually, will let's say 4 or 5 years down the road, will she win MVP? Yeah, I think so. But no, I don't agree with the comparison of Brianna Stewart and Caitlin Clark. They're two completely different players. Xavier says Caitlin versus Angel is wonderful for the sport, though. The good and the bad, as long as the eyes are on women's basketball, I'm here for it. Yeah, and I am here for fan bases back and forth, not liking each other and all that stuff. Like I am here. I'm here for it. And that's not a problem. And rivalries bring a lot of stuff to the that brings a lot of stuff to bringing fans to the games and all that stuff. Like I love that. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with people not liking Angel Reese. I don't have a problem with people not liking Caitlin Clark. To me, that's not an issue. But when you start to call people out their names, make up a whole bunch of stuff about them, projecting a whole bunch of stuff about them, to me, that's when you step a little bit too far. But I have no problems with people sort of getting at each other against different fan bases. I don't have a problem with that. Shani says, Quita, I'm sorry, it's mostly Iowa fans who are extremely disrespectful to Angel all the time. Wants me to call, okay. All right, J Bug. I'll call you J Bug. Do y'all remember J Bug from what was it, B2K? Wasn't there a J Bug in B2K? All right. J Bug says, Quita, I'm reading Asia's book right now. It's really good. Also, yeah, I will. Yeah. I will call you either J or J Bug for sure. But yeah, do y'all remember J Bug from B2K? I feel like I'm remembering that, right? Isn't there a J Bug from B2K? I used to be a big B2K fan back in the day. Yeah, all the girls were big B2K fans back in the day, and all the guys couldn't stand B2K. Tasha said, I got Asia's book in the mail. I'm excited to read it. Oh, nice. Braxton says, how do you feel about Billings to the Sparks? I have no idea. I've been so focused on the Chicago Sky that I don't have any thoughts right now. I'm sorry. I'll have some thoughts later for sure. Marcus says, I'm definitely rooting for Angel. She's out here doing things for the culture. Nina says, it's just to clarify her point earlier, it's just the same people I associate with the people who hate on women's sports more general. Okay. Fair enough. Let's see. David says, and Cheryl Swoops never apologized. Yeah. I mean, if she has, I haven't seen it. So I'll take your word for it, David. Yeah. I mean, she should apologize. I mean, she got it wrong. I mean, not necessarily like, I'm so sorry, Caitlin. No, but like, oh, my bad. I got it wrong. I'll make sure I got my facts straight next time, you know? Or next time when I'm talking about a player, I'll pull up their stat sheet and make sure I'm accurate. Like, why hasn't she done that? I don't know. I'm not Cheryl Swoops. I don't know her. But yeah, she should say publicly, like, hey, I got it wrong. And maybe she did, and maybe she did, and I just didn't see it. So this is not me saying either way, whether she did or didn't. If she didn't, I would say she should. Yeah. RC says, I'm just wondering if I missed the part of the video where Cheryl Swoops are talking a little greasy on Caitlyn and Angel. I mean, I included uh the Caitlyn Clark part in yesterday's edition of Women's Basketball Weekly. She was wrong about some stuff. She was wrong about quite a few things about Caitlyn Clark, Cheryl Swoops. But I I didn't take it that she was saying anything with any ill intent. She was just misinformed about the Caitlyn Clark stuff. BBCL says the WNBA has politics, but we need a meta world peace too. I like what you did there, y'all. If y'all didn't get that, Ron Artest changed his name to Meta World Peace. I love that. I love that. I love that. Xavier says Bird versus Magic saved the NBA. I believe Caitlyn and Angel are saving women's basketball in the same way. Yeah, fair. Yes. Shani says, or Shani, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, says, but you can't give an opinion about Clark without people saying something. Everyone doesn't have to like her game. Yes, facts. Yeah. There are some people who just don't like the way Caitlin Clark plays. That's fine. There's some people who can't stand the way Asia Wilson plays, and that's fine. There's like, you know, you may think that they're wild, and they may be wild in their opinions about that, but it is what it is. It's not everybody has to like everything. It's fine. Some people like apples, some people like oranges. Some people don't like either one, and some people like bananas instead. I'm just saying, like, Earlis says constructive criticism positive. Yeah. Lou says, I don't think it's about people feeling so invested. People who don't even watch will offer an opinion just because they can. Well, that's true as well. That that is true as well. My phone says athletics have always been an outlet for aggression for both players and fans. Yes, there are extremes, but I don't want to watch group therapy sessions and sneakers. You can't have love without hate. What? So my response to you is yes, athletics is a great outlet for aggression for both players and fans. Absolutely. And I think on the court, let's get after it. Yes, let's Let's cheer like crazy. Let's boo like crazy. Let's do all the things during the game, leading up to it, all that stuff. Nope, I have no problem with that. Absolutely. I don't want to see I do not want to see a group therapy session in sneakers. I don't. I want these players to, when they're on the court competing against each other, I don't want them to like each other. I don't. I don't. We saw LSU versus South Carolina what, like 2 weeks ago or whatever, and Raven Johnson and Angel Reese are really good friends. But on that court, they weren't friends that day. Nope. Nope. I want to beat you. you know, I don't want to see group therapy sessions on in sneakers. I don't. But I also think that sometimes we as people reach the extreme of stuff when it doesn't have to be. I don't think you have to hate a person. I don't think people have to hate Angel Reese because you don't like her game. You don't like her game. You don't want maybe you don't want her to be successful, or like whatever. People have their different feelings about certain players and whatnot, and what I kind of say that's fine. People can have different thoughts about stuff, but I think there is a just a level of mean spiritedness that exists that just, I don't know, it just bothers me. This is not, and I'm not someone who's like, is interested in what you're saying with the group therapy sessions and sneakers. I don't want that. I don't want to watch that. I wouldn't want to watch that if that was a basketball game. But can we not be so extreme? Can we not be so extreme? That's my question. That's my question. For us all, as fans. Lou says platforms like yours, Quita, does its part to balance out the equation with love. Thank you, Lou. And I really do try to do that. I really do. I really, really do. Yes, Xavier, I agree with that. I agree with that. Xavier says, think about the WNBA rivalries / narratives that don't get enough coverage. WNBA needs more stories for fans to follow and invest into. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Yes. I completely agree with that. Let's do a Magic versus Bird thing with Angel and Caitlin. I'm down for that. I'm down for that. Braxis says, as of today, can we get a WNBA power rankings from you? Yeah, I will give you a top 5. And this is just based off of my thoughts today. This may change, 2 weeks from now or whatever. So at number 1, I got the Las Vegas Aces. Number 2, I have the Seattle Storm. There's some people who have the New York Liberty at number 2, but I have the Seattle Storm at number 2. Number 3, I have the New York Liberty. Number 4, I have the Phoenix Mercury with the asterisk around them. And number 5, I have the Dallas Wings with another asterisk around them. So I could see Phoenix and Dallas sort of switching. So it's sort of like who's going to be number 4, who's going to be number 5. If Atlanta Deladon goes to Phoenix, then Phoenix is, yes, the 4 in my power rankings. If she doesn't go to Phoenix, then I would say Dallas is my 4. So in terms of my thoughts around those picks, I would say that the Aces, because they're still the head honchos, 2-time WNBA champs, and they're just still rocking their thing. Like, they're just still doing it, and to me, they are still the team to beat. The reason why I say the Seattle Storm is because the Seattle Storm has built a team of players who are ballers. Yes, they have a big 3, right? But they also have Ezzy Magmagor. They also have Jordan Horston, who are players who are on the rise, and I think will be even better this year. And Ezzy she was a all-star last year. And so, they're going to be both very good. The reason why I put them over New York is because New York showed me last year that they are not ready. And I haven't seen any changes on New York's roster that proves to me that they are ready. When the biggest moment came in the WNBA finals, the Las Vegas Aces were down two starters. Two starters. And the New York Liberty still couldn't get it done. To me, that shows that yes, they're going to win a boatload of games. They're going to be great. But when it comes down to it, are they actually going to be able to win? I don't know about that because I haven't seen any changes to the roster. And as long as that continues, I have them at 3. And yes, I'm sure a lot of people are going to be like, "Wow, you wild for saying that," But hey, I'm gonna say it. I don't have them at 3. You know. So yeah. I mean, I have them at 3. I mean, I don't have them at 2. So yeah, those are my thoughts. I missed a lot of comments, so I'm gonna scroll kind of towards the bottom. Okay, so Xavier gave his thoughts. Aces 1, Liberty 2, Storm 3, Wings 4, Mercury 5. Yeah, we're pretty. I mean, our top 5 is very similar, Xavier. Absolutely, just a little wiggle room here and there. But I could be down. I could absolutely be down with what you just said. With your top 5 as well. Kojo says, I'm going to co-sign what Lou said. Quita's coverage is not only excellent, but also very positive. She takes the sensationalism out of it. I try to. But I'm not perfect. I am not a perfect human being. I have lots of flaws, and sometimes I will make mistakes, and I ask that you all call me out on it because I find it very helpful. Because no one is perfect. Absolutely no one. SC Bread, I think, says, Quita, don't hate the messenger, hate the game. What makes you so sanctified all of a sudden? What about Caitlin Clark supposedly ran into OSU fan and she tried to make it into something so drastic drama? Okay, so let me try to make sense as to what you said. One, nothing makes me so sanctified. Like nothing. I am a flawed person who is sharing my flawed opinions about the flawed world that we live in. That's what I am. I am as my pastor says, I am not so sucheymuch. I'm not. and I think people who think they are so sucheymuch are some of the worst people because they think they have it all together, but they don't. And instead they're living behind a disguise that they show to other people. Like, oh, I'm all this. But in reality, you are terrible, I'm not so sucheymuch. I'm not. Absolutely not. Never will be. My thoughts about the Caitlin Clark thing with OSU. I mean, Caitlin Clark was running off the court. A fan was running on. In my opinion, both of those people were distracted. The fan, it looked like had a phone in their hand. Caitlin Clark, it looked like she was looking off to the side, and she caught the person right before they collided. Caitlin had a little theatrics sort of falling down. She's probably trained to fall that way. I don't know. And my point was that you have to focus on the safety of players, and so that was one of my points. Another point was that when you have a player that brings in so much money to programs like Caitlin Clark, um, you need to protect that. So that was my point. Like, you need to protect the money. And so if Caitlin Clark would have got hurt, that could have resulted in the loss of money for lots of other programs that Iowa will be facing for the rest of this year. You know, they sold out crowds basically all this year. And would these people show up if Caitlin Clark is injured? No. So it makes sense to protect the players, to make sure that you are you know where they're at in the event of a time when the opponent stormed the court. I don't have a problem with anybody storming the court. I saw this as a potential issue and I raised it. I mean, I don't know. To me, that's not me stirring drama. I don't think that's what I was doing. If that's what you got from it, I mean, I didn't that wasn't my intention. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to say. SC bread. But I appreciate your comment. I just disagree with it. I don't think I'm all that. And I mean, I stand by what I said about Caitlin Clark. A player should be protected, even if she ran away from her teammates when she shouldn't have. You know. Yeah. Anyway. B Girl 1214 says, I don't like the idea / notion that Clark should be protected because she is a money bag. Everyone should be protected, no special treatment. I agree with what you said with a caveat. So yes, all players should be protected. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. And not but and we have to accept the reality of things, right? Yes, every single player on that roster is extremely important for Iowa. Every single player on that roster deserves to be protected. Every player on that roster deserves not to encounter a fan and hit a fan as they're running off the court. And we should recognize that there is special attention around certain players. Caitlin Clark is one of those. Angel Reese is one of those. Dawn Staley is one of those. These are people who have an elevated status in women's basketball. And yes, absolutely protect everybody. Absolutely. But you also should be looking out as well with special attention to the people who are helping to make everything possible, right? So I don't know if I'm articulating myself correctly, but yeah, that's my thoughts about that. Braxton says you should start a fantasy draft. ESPN has a setup that you could use. It could be fun. Yeah. I mean, if y'all are into fantasy drafts, let's do it. let's make a league. Let's make a league and let's do it. Yeah, let's do it. Let's see. Luminera, I think. I apologize if I'm saying your name wrong. Says Q, who do you think will be last this season? I don't know. I don't know. I think it's between the LA Sparks, the Indiana Fever, and the Chicago Sky. As of right now. And also the Washington Mystics. Yeah, and the Washington Mystics. As of right now, I think those are the players, those are the teams that would be sort of towards the bottom. Who will be last? I don't know. But those are the people who I think would be at the bottom. Kojo says, I ain't so suchy much. I'm going to contemplate that. I mean, but it's like my pastor always says that. And he's been saying that since I was younger. And I totally, yeah. He's like, you ain't so suchy much. But, you know, you are not all that in a bag of chips, you know? Don't get too high of a horse. Like don't get too high on your horse, you know? Because you're not that. You're not all that. So Kyra says, Quita, since you are from Chicago, do you prefer deep dish? Yes, absolutely. Yes. Yes. But deep dish only from certain places. So certain places do deep dish well. So for example, Illuminati's best deep dish in the world. Giordano's also a really good deep dish. Not as good as Illuminati's, but very good. Uno's also really good deep dish. After you go through that, I say it's kind of like I'd have to judge it, you know, if I'm gonna try somebody else's deep dish. Let's see. What else, guys? What else? I'm trying to. There's so many comments. I'm trying to like go through them. Xavier says, I want Liberty or Wings to win the championship. Satu, my favorite player in the W, and I think the Liberty will return back to the finals and win if Dallas isn't there. Now, I would love to see Dallas in the championship game, and the reason why is because Dallas is a team that like the phrase Dallas University, I feel like was used quite a bit over the last several years as Dallas was sort of like figuring it out what they were trying to do. And I feel like they've gotten a team that looks really good. I think they're just missing one more player. I really do. I think they're missing one more player to really make this thing work and to really be able to compete. And even though I have Dallas as like my number 5, I absolutely think that the Aces can get got by the Dallas Wings. Is it likely? No. Can they? Yes. Dallas is a good team. Absolutely a good team. You got the trees, you know, doing their thing. You got a Goombawale, you know, hitting bucket. You know, like they're a good team. They're a good team. So I wouldn't be upset. I wouldn't be upset if they made it to the championship game. Cammy says, don't let anyone bully you. He's gonna call me Quinta. Yeah, definitely not I am not gonna allow anybody to bully me. I'm a person who says how I feel. I am a person who tries my best to think about what I'm saying before I say it, because I do know that words carry a lot. As I said earlier, you know, words do carry a lot, and I try to be very strategic about what I say. But yeah, y'all not gonna bully me. I'm gonna say what I want. I love women's basketball. I want women's basketball to thrive. I want us to all have fun together talking about women's basketball. To me, that is extremely important. But I'm not gonna let y'all bully me. So Cammy, don't worry. But I appreciate your message though. Nina says, yes, Quita, who's known for her ego and starting drama / sarcasm. Marcus says the present versus the future in a way. Xavier says Juju and Caitlin will face off in the March Madness tournament. That would be awesome. The TV coverage from that would be massive. So Xavier, I would actually say that I'm not sure if the TV coverage would be massive. I think that would be a fantastic game. I will say that I don't think a lot of the casual women's basketball fans know what Juju Watkins is doing. I don't think they do. And the reason why I say I don't think they do is because they're in the Pac-12. The Pac-12, you can't, those games are not on ESPN. There's a couple of Pac-12 games on ESPN for the season. I think it's like six total games that was on for the season for the Pac-12, and I believe 5 of them involve UCLA. You can't watch the Pac-12 on network TV. You have to have the Pac-12 network, which requires you to have, there's a couple of TV packages that include the Pac-12 network. So in terms of like people being able to watch it and making it accessible to people, I really don't think a lot of casual WNBA women's basketball fans have seen Juju Watkins play, and so I don't think that hype has built. Also, there's a huge time difference with when the Pac-12 has their game, so I think that's a huge issue as well. By the time some of those games are over, people are well asleep. So that would be a fantastic game. I would love to watch it. I don't know if ratings would be through the roof though. I think if it's Iowa versus USC versus compared to Iowa versus South Carolina, I think the Iowa versus South Carolina gets way more views than the Iowa versus USC because there's more people are way more familiar with it with South Carolina than USC because it's more accessible for games and whatnot. RC says people are saying Caitlin is winning all these games by herself are flagrantly incorrect. She can carry, she can thrill, but she does not win games by herself. That's silly. That's the silly stuff I've heard. Well, yeah, yeah. She definitely can't win it by herself. I mean, y'all, I don't know if everyone knows this, but like Iowa has a good squad. Like it's not just Caitlin Clark. You have Kate Martin has just been, she's been like Caitlin Clark's ride or die this year. Like she's there for it all. She gonna crash the boards when she need to. She's gonna make sure like when like she sets screens for Caitlin. She's gonna make sure she's diving to the basket. Like Kate Martin is good. You also have Molly Davis, Mighty Molly, who's really coming into her own this season, scoring. She can light it up. She can light it up from the field. You also have Hannah Stokey, big girl in the post. She's not Monica Sonano, but like she's pretty good. She's pretty good in her own right. And I can see her continuing to get more and more comfortable with her role as time goes on. And you have Gabby Gabby Marshall. There we go. You have Gabby Marshall, who was on a big slump for a while. Seeing like she's sort of hot and cold at times, but like really good player. Like Caitlin isn't doing it by herself. Nobody is doing it by herself themselves. Even Juju Watkins with her 51 points, she didn't win that game by herself. So yeah. I do not have a Discord. Discord is one of those things that I don't fully understand. I understand it. It's sort of like a Slack of sorts. It's like a Slack for the public. But I maybe I don't know. I don't know if I should get one or anything. But no, I don't have one. All right, so I got some people down for the draft. Xavier, Braxton, Nolan, Kyra. All right, Cammy. All right, I got some people down for it. All right. Let's go. Um, watching her try to say anything but the sky. What? Um, these are facts. RC scored 25 points against OSU and Iowa still lost. Oh, you're talking to RC. I was like, who is RC? You better not say Washington. Kyra says Fever is making the playoffs this season. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, I fingers crossed for them to get it together. Fingers crossed. I mean, they've been bad for such a long time. So, um, I feel like I've been calling you Malik, but I don't see an L in your name. So, Make says, where do you think Alyssa Thomas goes when she's a free agent next year? I feel like she probably stays in Connecticut, but I will say, Alyssa Thomas, if you are seeing this, the Chicago Sky would love to have you on our team. Like, I am speaking for Sky fans. We would love to have you on our team. Alyssa Thomas is like, she's such a good player. And it's just amazing how she's kind of like she's kind of like Jokic in a way. In a way, she's kind of like Jokic because she can kind of do it all. She could be a point guard, she could be a post player. She can't shoot like Jokic, but like she's an unconventional player that when you look at them, you're like, are they really good at basketball? You know, with her two bum shoulders and whatnot, and Jokic just like looking like a random person, not necessarily looking like a stereotypical basketball player, but yet they get on that court and they just ball. And it's just like, man. So Alyssa Thomas. Make. Can you provide me a pronouncer for your name? Make. I don't know. I don't want to be saying your name wrong the whole time. I don't know where Alyssa Thomas will go, but I will say this: if Alyssa Thomas is looking for a team, come to Chicago Sky. We would love to have you. We would love to have you. Jay Boog says, nice talking to everyone. Great convo as always. Y'all have a good night. Well, have a good night, Jay Boog. And y'all, subscribe to Jay Boog's channel if y'all haven't yet. Kimberly says, Quita, how can you say Indiana is going to be last, especially if they get Caitlin Clark, since everyone gives her such high praise? So I didn't actually say that they would be in last place. I said that the teams that I think will be last are Sparks, Indiana, Sky, and I believe I said the Washington Mystics as well. So I don't know who's going to be in last place. I do believe that Indiana will be as of right now, I believe that Indiana is going to be either in 9th, 10th, 11th, or 12th place. Probably won't be in 12th place, but I don't see them making the playoffs. If they do, great. Love it. They really do need to get their fan base something to cheer about. So yeah. Nola says yes, Kyrie playing postseason. Hey, fingers crossed, man. I'm rooting for the Indiana Fever. I think they need it. I'm rooting for them. In a similar way to how I'm like rooting for Dallas to be successful, because it's just like their fan bases deserve success, you know. And they haven't seen success in a long time, and so I their fan bases deserve it. So I'm rooting for y'all. I really am. Cammy says, since you're from Chicago, what's your Portillo's order? I actually don't eat Portillo's. I feel like I've had Portillo's maybe once in my life. Maybe once in my life, yeah. And actually maybe twice. And I think both times I had like a Caesar salad, and that was like a couple years ago. So nothing. Like I don't have a Portillo's order. It's because like growing up, Portillo's was always very expensive. At least that was a thought that they were very expensive, and we never ate there ever. so so growing up, I just people talk about Portillo's, but like I never ate there. And it wasn't until I was an adult that I went there, and I mean it's fine. Like there's a Portillo's right up, like it's not too far from me. And now I don't know, I just don't really have a desire to go. So yeah, I don't have Portillo's order. Luminera says, what pick and or where does Camila Cardoso go in the draft? I'm not sure. I think I I can't remember initially. Sort of at the start of the season, I did a mock draft, and I can't remember exactly where I put Camila Cardoso. Um, I am just waiting to see where, like, who goes where, basically. It depends on for sure Brink is coming out, but it depends on if Caitlin and or Paige come out of the draft. I think that determines a lot. So not sure at this moment. I'm not sure. Oh no, I appreciate you, SC bread, a Gullah accent. They said, Quita, everything's good. I'm just giving an opinion. Yeah, which is fine. Like absolutely. Please, y'all give your opinion. I mean, if I disagree with your opinion, I'm gonna respond. But that's fine. I mean, we're all. This is what we're here for. We all communicate together. We share information. We disagree. We agree. And we keep communicating. Like that's fine. Yes, Shani says people should check out Notre Dame's freshman Hannah Hildago. She is an amazing player. She is. Y'all, Hannah Hildago is something special. And y'all, this girl is short. I think she's either 5'6" or 5'7". I can look this up real quick, but yeah, she is short. She's not even tall. So she's short and she's balling. She refuses to lose. She's 5'6". She refuses to lose. She has that dog in her. Like she just wants to get after it. And there was a clip that I saw of Niele Ivy took her out of the game. And it seemed like she was like mad about a play, and she was just on the bench, just sort of stewing on that. And I was just like, man, like that's a fierce competitor. She wants to be absolutely perfect on the court, and her drive for the game. I love to see it. I love it. I really do. I think we have a special group of up and coming talent that I love it. I absolutely love it. Phil says, yeah, Juju on the West Coast. It's hard for folks on the East Coast to see what she's doing. Yep. Nina said, I'm a sucker for a short basketball player. Because you know the short players, they are giving it all that they have because they're at a disadvantage because they're so short. And this girl, if you haven't watched Hannah Hildago play, please do yourself a favor and watch Notre Dame, because like you're gonna be amazed at how she plays at 5'6". Kimberly says Carolyn Peck thinks that Camila Cardoso will go around the fourth pick. Cool. Xavier says Juju will bring the celebrities and Caitlyn will bring the diehard fans. Yeah. Y'all, celebrities love Juju. Celebrities love Juju Watkins, and that's pretty awesome. That is pretty awesome. Lou said, Quita, are you looking forward to Athletes Unlimited? Women's basketball season set to start in a few weeks. Yeah. So Athletes Unlimited starts at the end of the month, end of February. And I believe they're playing in Dallas, if I'm not mistaken. I am very much interested in Athletes Unlimited. Um, I will say one thing though, that I think that Athletes Unlimited is possibly going to struggle a little bit due to March Madness happening. So I believe maybe I'm mad. I feel like one of the years for Athletes Unlimited, it was in January, and I felt like that was a lot better because you college basketball wasn't in its like height. And I feel like yes, Athletes Unlimited is different than women's college basketball. However, women's college basketball is like where, you know, the eyeballs are, and I feel like if there's an instance where there's a March Madness game on at the same time that Athletes Unlimited is on, I feel like a lot of people would pick March Madness over Athletes Unlimited, and I want Athletes Unlimited to be very successful. So I am a little bit worried about that and how they compete with the NCAA because of March Madness. But I I hope that Athletes Unlimited is very successful. I'll be watching for sure. Also, if you all want to watch Athletes Unlimited, the WNBA will have it on their app as well. So yeah, you know, there'll be lots of opportunities for you to watch Athletes Unlimited. So I hope that you all do that. Before the season starts for Athletes Unlimited, I will be doing a deep dive into it, letting you all know um, who's participating, what it is, when the games are, and all that good stuff, how to watch it. So if you all want to be in tune of what's going on with Athletes Unlimited, don't worry, I got you covered. I will make sure that you all are informed. But yeah, I am looking forward to it, but I am slightly worried about it competing with March Madness. All right, guys, we have gone for, oh my god, 2 hours and 47 minutes, y'all. This has been a long time. Um, I do appreciate y'all for rocking with me. We've been on here for a long time. I appreciate y'all dealing with the little rant that I gave earlier about civility. Like I know I talked about that probably way too long, but like, you know, I felt like I had to talk about it. I no, I felt like it was necessary to talk about. Um, um, I do appreciate y'all rocking with me. I am, as I said earlier, I am not so suchy much. I'm just a random person on the internet who loves to talk to other people about women's basketball. And I appreciate y'all. I call y'all awesome people of the internet because I truly believe you all are awesome people of the internet. I pray that you guys have a great rest of your night. Please get a lot of sleep. For those who have work in the morning, I hope you have a fantastic day. For those who have school in the morning, I hope you have a fantastic day. Um, you know, whatever you're doing tomorrow, please have a great day. Um, Also, we got some big games tomorrow, so watch those games tomorrow. Um, I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Y'all rock. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Happy end of Tuesday, everyone. For those um who I didn't get to your comment, I'm sorry. I really just do need to go to sleep. I'm like I'm like starting to get very very tired here. All right, guys, you rock. I appreciate y'all. I ain't got nothing else to say. But to say this. Until next time, guys. Bye, y'all.